Yo guys, welcome to a new video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about or discussing the argument of I'll die happy, or at least I'll get to die being happy, knowing that I can eat the foods that I want to eat. And I hear this a lot. I actually hear this quite frequently when I'm at work or when I'm just out and around and I'm talking to people, and they say, you know, they're looking at diet foods and they say, I'd rather eat this sort of food than this sort of food because at least it makes me happy, and if it takes 20% of my life off me, then it doesn't bother me. Now, I think when people are saying this, they don't actually really understand what they're actually saying. So I think just the main 4 components of eating healthy food, going to the gym or regular exercise, non-smoking and minimal alcohol, gives an extra 10 years to a human's life. So I think at the end of the day, we all want to be on this planet and we all want to live. So it saddens me to see that we see people on, you know, the streets smoking, drinking, being homeless, being on drugs. Some people who just cannot, or they say they just cannot eat healthy food, and I see it all the time at work. I see people who are just struggling with their diet. I see it 70% of the population of the world are overweight. So that's a very scary statistic when you think about, you know, the majority of the people on the planet are overweight. And I guess if you were a millionaire or a billionaire, it doesn't have to be in monetary terms, but let's just say you're very wealthy. You're looking at wealth in the wrong way. You're thinking of wealth in a monetary term, in a cash term. Wealth to me is health. Being healthy is the best currency in the world. I mean, would you rather have a billion pounds in the bank, but then, you know, you're too big to even get out of the bed? You're too unhealthy to even stay awake for 10 to 8 hours a day. You're too unhealthy to even move and see your family and go to the cinema, or, you know, go out on the beach with your family and walk around. Too healthy to even, you know, mobilize yourself and do yoga and work out and go to the gym. Now this I'll die when I'm happy, or at least I'll die happy, makes no sense to me, because you're consuming, so your argument is you're consuming these foods that make you happy. But inherently, I don't think that they do actually make you happy. They can't physically make, I mean, maybe they will trigger hormones within your body that make you think you're being, you know, you're actually getting some happy hormones, you're getting some, your dopamine levels are rising. But that's not you as a person. They're chemicals in your body, such as sugar, that is making hormones in your body addictive. So you have these cells within your body that crave sugar. So the more sugar that you crave, the more sugar that you digest and consume, the more your body's going to want to eat sugar. Now, if you decrease your sugar intake, your body will adapt, and over a period of time, you can literally go to having no sugar, and your body will be absolutely fine. So the argument doesn't really make much sense, because you can still live. I would propose that I'm living a very happy life, eating a very quote-unquote strict diet. It's not strict in the sense that I think it's strict, but someone on the outside looking in thinks my diet's really strict, because yes, I track all my food, I watch what I eat, I have all my, you know, I have at least 10 of your 5 a day, I'm having lots of fruits and vegetables, I'm having lots of nuts and seeds, I'm having lots of superfoods, I'm having a kale smoothie, I'm having apple cider vinegar. So to the outside looking in, I look super healthy, but to me, it's just what I do on a day-to-day basis. It's like getting up in the morning, doing my cardio and doing my yoga session. It's the same as brushing my teeth. There's no disparity between it. It's just exactly the same as, you know, someone who doesn't do that. It's just that I'm now programmed to do that, and everyone else can do that as well. So by saying that, oh, at least I get to eat these foods, it makes me happy, I enjoy what I'm doing. My argument is that you can still do that and live longer. What I propose is you can eat good healthy food, which does taste nice once your taste buds adapt. What you got to remember is your body's been climatized to be eating lots of sugar, lots of starch, lots of carbs, lots of fats and protein all in one go. If you slowly diminish or slowly change your diet and take out certain carb sources and maybe run on one energy source, such as either fats or carbs. I mean, you don't have to go keto, you could just run on carbs. I mean, it'll be maybe more efficient for your body to run on fat, so you can get fat adapted, okay, through a stage of going on the ketogenic diet or the low carb diet, high fat. And then once you've gone and got or fat adapted and your body can really process fats really well, then you can start doing what I do and start implementing carbs back into the diet, getting some fruit, getting some vegetables, getting some organic beans and sweet potatoes back into the diet. So, I mean, just by adding the 4 elements that I spoke about, you know, the healthy lifestyle, going to the gym, working out, not smoking, not drinking that much alcohol, maybe, you know, a couple drinks in the week, glass of wine, just those 4 things can increase lifespan and longevity 10 to 12 years. So, and I mean, having all these fiber day and super greens and superfoods, they all add to your longevity. That you don't just, you know, they're not just bringing you, you know, small benefits. The benefits, they all work synergistically. It's like taking supplements. They're a supplementation to your diet, meaning that all these things come together and they all work towards longevity. They all work towards BDNF, brain-derived neurofactor. They all work towards, you know, giving your brain better energy, bringing down cortisol, keeping your stress hormones at bay. So every time you're eating these sugary foods, your body's blood sugar levels are getting spiked. And the more times you spike your blood sugar levels, we know the higher chance of you getting type 2 diabetes. Now, if you do get type 2 diabetes, your chances of getting Alzheimer's goes from 25% to 50%. So each one of us humans has a 1 in 4 chance of getting Alzheimer's. That's a scary statistic. That's 1 in 4, that's 25% chance. So that means someone in a family, statistically, 1 in 4 of them has a chance of getting Alzheimer's. Now, not every time that's going to work out, because in some families there's going to be 2 people that get it out of 4, and in some families there's going to be 0 that get it out of 4. So it's a statistic, it's an average, a mean. So, you know, I have a family of 4, me, my brother, my dad and my stepmom. So maybe none of us gets Alzheimer's in our family. My brother is type 1 diabetic, so the chance of him getting Alzheimer's is very high, 50%, which was 25% earlier before he had his type 1 diabetes. So maybe that statistic will play out. I hope it doesn't, but that would show truthness, because 1 in 4, 25%, and that would work out. I mean, it's not a nice thing to think about, but my main point is no one wants Alzheimer's. No one wants to basically forget their family, forget everything they know, forget their loved ones. But you are walking towards that because you are consuming all these high sugar foods. Like I say, every time you eat carbohydrates, your blood sugar is going to produce insulin to break down the carbs into glucose. What happens? Well, you get an insulin spike, okay, your blood sugar spike, and then your body's going to obviously come back down. And the more times you do that, the higher chances of your pancreas are to give up, which means if your pancreas gives up, you're going to become type 2 diabetic. Okay, type 1 diabetic is hereditary, so it's passed down from the genes, so it's not always on the diet. It can be conflicted, or it can be inflicted by the diet, but most of the time it's genetic, it's hereditary, so it's not all, you know, down to the individual. It's more DNA and passed down through generations. So like my brother, like I say, he's type 1, so, but diet would have played a role in that, because, you know, your pancreas can only last for so long. It's like the heart. Some people say the heart has a certain amount of beats. Now, this hasn't been scientifically proven, but it would make some kind of sense. But the thing what people don't realize is the healthier you get, the slower your heart rate becomes, which is actually healthier. So you could be in the gym doing your cardio and, you know, running at 160 beats a minute. But what you don't realize is when you're outside, when you're back at home, your heart rate's a lot slower than it would be if you didn't do that cardio and you were running at a high heartbeat for 24 hours. So if your heart rate's maybe 80 beats a minute for 24 hours, versus someone who goes to the gym and goes to 160 beats a minute for an hour, but then rests on 50 to 60 beats a minute, they're actually healthier. because it's only a short period where your heart rate is obviously going quite fast. So that's kind of delineating from the point, but my main point is you can still live a long, happy life with eating, you know, quote unquote really strict diet. You don't have, it doesn't have to be strict. You can just make sure it's healthy. You know, you can get your 5 a day, you can make sure you're having clean carb sources. I mean, my main advice is just basically cut the sugar. You know, step one, basically decrease your sugar intake and then just take it from there. Maybe implement, you know, some super greens into the diet, some super foods, some 5 a day. Maybe start going to the gym on a regular basis, get a strength training program, get a meal plan. So some takeaway advice from me would be, 1, decrease the sugar intake slowly over time. 2, start implementing some clean carbs. If you're not going to do keto, just start having some clean carbohydrates, some oats, some sweet potatoes, some organic beans, things like that. I would stay away from the bread, I would stay away from pasta, I'd stay away from cereal and stuff like that. And then I would also start having some clean fat sources. So we can have some avocados, we can have some red meats. Chicken's good, but chickens are, you know, white meat, so it's very low in fats. You want to go for your steaks, your beef, your minced beef, steak burgers, things like that. And then be having some eggs and some nuts and seeds, some almonds, some Brazil nuts, some macadamia nuts, and things like that. So try and decrease the sugar. Basically, my main advice to anyone getting into fitness is lower the amount of times your blood sugar levels are getting spiked throughout the day. The only times my blood sugar levels really spike throughout the day is probably about 3 times, and that's mainly when I have my meal in the evening, which is around 6 to 7 o'clock. Throughout the day, I'm basically fasting, and then I have sometimes a bulletproof coffee, so my MCT oil and my Kerrygold butter, so that's going to help promote BDNF, brain-derived neurofactor, and then you're also going to get the polyphenols from the butter, which is going to stimulate brain growth as well and focus. You also have caffeine and theanine in the coffee, so that's going to help promote focus as well. So that is a really good drink to have, maybe throughout, you know, from like 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock or from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. But basically I'm fasting for the most of the day, and then I only really have carbs for about 2 hours out of the day. So it's like a cyclical ketogenic diet. So if you would like a custom made meal plan or a custom made training plan or even a one-to-one consultation, they are all available on my website at parkerperformance.com, and I'll have all the links in the description link below. So that's going to be the end of the video, guys. Thank you for watching, and if you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That really helped me out. And other than that, guys, I will see you all in the next video.